If you ever wish you could go back and fix a mistake, take back a cringy moment, or maybe warn your past self about that one investment you definitely shouldn't have made, well, so has almost everyone. Time travel backwards is one of the most irresistible ideas in science fiction, but in reality, it's a completely different story. Today we're diving into the weird, wild science behind the question, why can't we travel back in time? So let's start with the basics. Time only seems to move forward, as we discussed in our last video. You remember the past, you don't remember the future. Eggs break but never unbreak, ice melts, people age, coffee gets cold. This one-wave movement is what physicists call the arrow of time, and it's deeply tied to something called entropy, the tendency for things to move forward from order to disorder. That's the second law of thermodynamics, and it's kind of the universe's way of saying no take-backs. Once entropy increases, it doesn't go back, and because of that, time seems to move in one direction, forward. Now, here's the twist. The laws of physics don't actually forbid time travel backwards. Yep, Newton's law, Einstein's equations, they're all time semantic. If you filmed the universe playing forward or backwards, the math still seems to make sense. So why aren't we zipping around in the past like tourists in a time machine? Because there's a big difference between what's mathematically possible and what's physically realistic. Einstein's theory of relativity does allow for some mind-blowing possibilities, like wormholes, hypothetical tunnels through space-time. If the end of the wormhole was moving fast or placed near a black hole, the time on each side could become desynchronized. In theory, walk through the tunnel and boom, you come out in the past. There's also something called a closed time-like curve, basically a loop in time. It sounds like science fiction, but some physicists have proposed they could exist in certain exotic space-time geometries. So, what's stopping us? Well, for one, we've never seen a wormhole, and even if they exist, you'd need negative energy or exotic matter to keep them open, which we also haven't found yet. Even if we could go back in time, time travel creates logical nightmares. The most famous one, or one of the most famous ones, is the grandfather paradox. You go back in time, you accidentally or intentionally prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother. Results? You're never born. Which means you couldn't have gone back in time, so your grandfather does meet your grandmother, which means you are born, and around it goes. Time travel backwards breaks causality. That's the cause and effect logic that holds the universe together. And as far as physics is concerned, that's a huge problem. However, there are some wild workarounds, and these theories do try and fix that. One is the Novikov self-consistency principle. It says whatever you do in the past is always part of history. No matter how hard you try, you can't create a paradox because your actions are already baked into the timeline. Another idea is the multiverse theory, which if you watch the Marvel films you're probably familiar with. And this is, if every possible outcome spawns a new universe, then maybe, just maybe, you could go back in time, but you'd enter a different timeline. A branching reality where your actions don't affect the one you came from. Cool idea, but again, as of yet, no evidence. Okay, so let's say science goes full sci-fi. Could we ever build a real time machine? The short answer, not with our current physics. Bend time backwards, you need massive gravitational forces, faster than light travel, or materials that don't or might not even exist. Some proposals involve rotating black holes, infinite cylinders, or wormholes stabilized by negative energy, but these all live in the realm of hypothetical physics, not engineering. For now, time travel into the past remains out of reach. Forward time travel, though, well, that is a different story. See, we're already time travelling, just not backwards. Here's something cool. According to Einstein's relativity, time moves slower the faster you go or the closer you are to a stronger gravitational field. Astronauts on the International Space Station, they experience time just a tiny bit more slowly than we do on Earth. It's called time dilation, and it's been confirmed by experiments again and again. There's that film, I think it's Interstellar, where they show time dilation near a black hole. So technically, every astronaut is a time traveler, just not in the flashy Back to the Future kind of way. So why can't we travel back in time? Because even though the math hints at it, reality refuses to play along. Time might be more flexible than we thought, but backwards time travel, that's a whole new level of strange. Until we crack some laws of physics or discover a wormhole, the past is a one-way street. Thanks for watching, and if this blew your mind even just a little bit, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. And hey, if you could go back in time, what would you change?